Hey everyone, welcome to Hometalk Live. I'm Hannah and I'm here at the New York City headquarters. We're about to head over to Sonia, who is going to show us a really cool way to upcycle your leftover napkins. So regular old paper napkins, an amazing way to turn them into beautiful decor. So let's go ahead and just head right over. Hey Sonia, how's it going?
Hey Hannah, how are ya? And hello Hometalk family, how's everybody doing?
We're doing awesome.
Hey, yay, me too. Listen, it doesn't get any better than this. I'm covered in paint because I've been here in my DIY space today working on making these awesome signs. So who doesn't love a good sign, right? It's what I call, to me, when I think about signs in the home, it's like your bumper sticker, okay? It's that thing that you put on your wall that kind of reflects who you are, right? So this is a fun one. This is a thankful one. I'm going to show you guys how to knock it out today. It's really easy. It looks really hard, but I promise I'll show you how to cheat and make it look really cool, okay? So this is, remember, this is our end result, but we're going to start at first with a blank piece of wood, okay? So who has a piece of wood right now in their basement? Just looking like this. It doesn't matter how old it is. It doesn't matter the thickness. Really, pretty much all you have to look at is what size sign do you want for your home, okay? So, what's that?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, and you could just run to Home Depot, or you could find a simple piece of wood like that anywhere.
You betcha. That's what I love about this. My whole thing in life is to be able to make homes beautiful and to be able to do it on a budget and to be able to do it with things that you can really just find around your house, in the basement, your neighbor, because you know as well as I do. I mean, you can drive down the street and find a pile of wood sitting next to a trash can because somebody has just put a new addition on their home. You know, they've cleaned out the basement, and right now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the happiest time for me because we're about to be into junkin' season, and the weather's turning nice. Everybody's pulling out their trash, and we all know, say it with me, one person's trash
is another person's treasure.
You got it, absolutely. So what you see I'm doing right now is taking a little bit of our paint. This is just our Junk Monkey paint. I like it, and the most important thing is finding a paint that's really going to stick on. So you don't have to prime or prep or anything. You just saw me get a piece of wood. I could cut it to size if I really wanted to. I don't really care how naughty it is or how much character it has. What I'm going to do is just put black paint all over it, okay? The biggest tip when you're doing this part is just go with the grain of the wood. So nice long description with your paintbrush, and there we go. It's pretty much done. How fast was that? So the background that I always do is usually, look at this sign right here. I like to do blacks and I like to do browns for my background. Because look, this sign is looking pretty tattered and worn. With who else out there is a lover of distress and worn, and you know, you like to make things look clean, right? And when you think about these, you get like dark spots on things and it starts to change color. So this is what I choose to go with a dark color for the background, okay? So what do you think so far? Is it easy?
Great. Right? Yeah, and I do want everybody who's watching to know we have a giveaway today. So as Sonia's working on that, if you tell us in a comment, what would you put on your sign? What would you make it say? The possibilities are endless, and like Sonia said, a sign is like the bumper sticker of your home. So what does your home stand for? What's your favorite saying? Tell us in a comment, and we will pick a winner at the end. We're going to read out some ideas that come in, so don't forget to put in your answer.
Yes. You know what? I honestly, in this day and age, I don't know what we did without Google, but what did we do without even Pinterest, right? So anybody else out there use Pinterest just like you would Google nowadays. So if you're even looking for ideas, I mean, you can go on Pinterest and find all kinds, just search wooden signs, just to get some inspiration for what do I want my sign to say? You could personalize it. I mean, you could totally do a monogram. You could do your family last name on it, or you could do something that's really just, that speaks to you, right? That speaks to your heart, and just makes you happy.
Yes,
so,
and we have so many cool ideas coming in already. We have believe, we have faith, grateful. We have one that says just welcome friend. Oh, I love this one. Craft like no one's watching.
Love it.
Yes, and
I'm friends with somebody like that.
Yes.
My bumper sticker of life.
Yes, and Ethel said she's putting the coffee shop right now, so I think she's going to make her own. Please share it if you end up making one.
Oh, very nice. Yes. And even thinking about spaces, like think about, for example, you know, the laundry room, the pantry, right?
Oh,
So
yes.
what I wanted to just do then was use some Mod Podge. Like, hello, thank you, Mod Podge. Been around since the 1960s, and we're still crafting with it and DIYing with it. I love it. By the way, here's a quick trivia question. Who knows how to make your own Mod Podge? Talk about being on a budget, because sometimes if you have, you know, if you want to make it yourself, you can go right out and buy it. But anybody know? Hannah, do you know?
I don't. I'm a little ashamed. How do you make your own Mod Podge? We have tons of bottles of it in the office, but have never DIY'd it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I bet the Hometalk family knows, right? Is anybody saying maybe like Elmer's glue and water?
Let's see.
Are you seeing it?
Hold on. I'm going through the comments. Let's see. We have a lot of sign ideas. I think they're overtaking the the answers.
That's hard to read through everybody's. You're going to have a hard decision. Who's going to win that T-shirt? You get so many different, you know, so many different entries. Holy moly, girl!
Seriously.
So, by the way, kind of where I am right now before I get ahead of myself. So I put some Mod Podge on. So a lot of people will ask, when you go to the Mod Podge section, you can find so many. There's matte, there's gloss, there's all kinds of stuff. Here's kind of my rule of thumb. If I'm doing something that looks like a shabby, distressed, worn, I'm going to go with a matte finish, because old things don't look glossy. They don't look shiny and they don't look new, right? The thumb, go with matte. But if you're somebody who wants, you know, I want this to look perfect, I want a more modern kind of a look to it, then what I want you to do is go and look for a gloss kind, okay? So what you just see me do is peel apart napkins. Now, when you get napkins, okay, now if you just kind of look over here, you're going to see that I kind of have a bit of an obsession with napkins. The truth comes out, right? You can't hide what's inside. So if you're like me and you just love pretty designs, after a while, when you kind of really know, when you see this DIY come to an end, you're going to be like, seriously, you're going to be obsessed with napkins just like me. But look at all these pretty napkins, right? Just when you guys like them polka dot.
Yeah, they're awesome. And think about how many napkins come in a package. You have so much to work with.
Like, look, 97 cents, right? So when you're thinking about making signs, it goes so far. And then the only thing you have to look at is if right here on the information, it'll tell you how many ply it is. What that means, it's just like buying toilet paper. It tells you how many layers make up the actual napkin. So you saw me earlier peel a napkin apart. I'm going to do the same here. So basically what I'm doing is laying down the length of my piece of wood, the actual napkin, okay? That's all you have to do. Now, biggest tip right here is try not to overlap your napkin. What I want you to do is put your napkin kind of just like butt it up right very next to the very last one, because what happens is when this dries, if you do an overlap, it gives you a seam, and you know, it's just kind of not where you want it to be, right? So here comes the fun part where you get to be like a little child, you know what I mean? Have fun, because crafting is fun, DIYing is fun, and I think one of the biggest things I like about DIYing is you get to do things like this, and it's just playing with glue, right? Really, that's all it is. That you get to take some time away from the adult things of life and just have fun. So
yes.
It's one of the reasons why I love working with napkins, okay, when you're doing custom signs is, number one, you can find a napkin basically with any design on it, because napkins are made for parties, and everybody knows that they love different styles of parties, right? Think about how many different birthday parties you had over the years. So, you know, you can find anything that you want, whatever makes your heart happy. So I put a layer of Mod Podge underneath. I put the napkins on top. I do the hand press. This is what I call it. And then I'm going to use the Mod Podge to go back over the top. And I kind of like just stipple it on a little bit, because if you press it too much, eventually it'll stick to your hand. Okay, so just be gentle with it. Just give it a few little push downs. And what happens is with the actual Mod Podge under and on top of it, it really will seal into the wood. And because you're working with real wood, you'll pull it into the actual pores of the wood, and it'll stuck right on, so that you get a really, like if you look at the edge of this one right here, it's really stuck onto the wood, and it ain't going anywhere, right?
Great. And everybody's loving the flamingo print. Where did you get the flamingo napkins?
I think it was my local Wally World, my local Walmart. And this is the other reason why I love napkins, okay, guys? Because I can't draw a flamingo to save my soul. Now, I don't know if anybody else out there, but while I love to DIY, let's just say, if you had asked me to, like, I don't know, draw anything on here that's not basic, I might be in trouble, right? So you can find any napkin under the sun. And by the way, you can also shop online, because you don't have to just go local. But now you can go online and you can search all kinds of napkins and, pick out ones that really speak to you. But I love to pick up napkins when they're in season and then keep them and throw them in like a big basket. And you can put them.
Yeah, and Dorothy wants to know, would glue and cornstarch work for Mod Podge?
That's a good question. I've never tried that before.
Yeah. A few people did answer, though, Elmer's glue and water.
Yes, because when you're in a pinch and you can't get to the store and maybe it's a snowy day, yeah, you just make it yourself, right? You got to do what you got to do. So here's the other really cool thing about napkins. Not only do they dry because they're thin enough, right? You're just using the one layer of the print. They're an awesome print that you didn't have to draw yourself, and you can make custom signs, but they tear really, really easily, okay? So what you're seeing me do now is just take a sand block. It's about a medium grit, maybe a 60 grit sand block, and I'm working my way around the entire edge. And what I want you to do is just kind of like pull down as you go. It's okay if you get some wrinkles. And by the way, when you're working on this, I'm going to be honest with you, tears can happen, but tears, in my world, when I'm working on these signs here, trust me, when this sucks into this wood, this is going to pop out like distressed wood, like that big piece right there. And I'll show you how to fix one piece.
Yes.
But yeah, when you think about distressed style, the reason why it looks distressed is because you have multiple colors. Like, if you find a window on the side of the road and it looks distressed, chances are it's because the weather, the elements has caused all the paint to peel back, and you can see that, Grandma painted that window 5 times before, and you've got multiple colors coming through. So ahead and putting a black or a brown down on below it. When you do get those tears, you're not exposing just plain wood. You've got a color coming through. So you can set whatever color you want on there. But because, when I think of dark and old, I'm thinking like dark and dust and blacks and browns. That's why I choose those colors. So then you can edges again if you want. Just knock it down. And then, okay?
Yes, and as everybody's coming into the feed, don't forget to tell us where you're watching from. I'm in New York City. Please comment your city and state where you're watching from, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see where everybody's from.
Yeah.
Are we a roll call yet? Is everybody saying where they're from?
Let's see. We got, hold on a second. We're going to wait for them to start rolling in.
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in the beautiful Laurel Highlands outside of Pittsburgh. And Hannah, you are in
New York City.
What else we got represented here? What are the states?
All right, we got Utah, South Carolina. We have Sandra from New Hampshire. Denise from Mississippi. And Cher from Toronto, Ontario.
Hello. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is basically the magic of television, right? So if you guys were to knock some of these signs out, I would do a bunch of them. And so somebody that's good at math, which is not me, on here, tell me. Let's see. So I will buy a plank of wood. I get maybe a 6-foot piece of long new wood if I want it to at my local hardware store. Then I cut them off into 2-foot pieces. So I'm getting 3 signs out of a piece of plank of wood that cost me $6.99. So what is that? That's the cost of my actual base of the sign. Then I'm picking up napkins for 97 cents that have anywhere from 50 to 75 napkins in them. And I'm only using 2 per sign. So, if somebody wants to do the math, tell me what that amounts to. But I think it's pretty darn cheap, right?
Yes, and don't forget to tell us what you would make your sign say if you want to win a Hometalk tote bag. We have a ton of ideas that have come in. I need to go back down and go through some more here.
Easiest way ever to get a t-shirt. All you gotta do is inspire us and tell us what
right?
word you
I mean, we have some really nice ones. We have You're My Sunshine, Live Life to the Fullest. Please pick up After Your Pet. That is one I can relate to in Brooklyn. Let's see. Live in the Moment. Fur babies live here too. I love that. I have 2 cats.
Love it, love it, love it.
And everybody loves your brick wall, by the way, of course. Always loving the brick wall.
Thank you. Well, maybe we'll have to do a tutorial on how to do a faux brick wall.
Yes. And Jennifer said she would turn this into a tray. That would be really cool. You could put handles on it. An easy tray.
Yeah, maybe put your words on here. So what I've just done now is taken the same sand block. I didn't have to buy a new one. And I've now let that dry. So remember I showed you the wet napkins? Now it's dried. So I'd make a bunch of these put them outside, even on your picnic table, to dry really, really quick in a couple hours. And then just do a nice swipe over. So you can do as much distressing as you want. So for example, you can see right here, the black is coming through, right? How cool is that? Because I always think I'm a girl that loves to distress, not being distressed. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I've done some of that sanding, I can also put a layer of sealer on it. This is just folding down that tissue paper, or rather the napkin, really, really well, okay? And the nice thing is, when you're using Mod Podge, is it dries clear, so you don't have to be scared when you see all the white on it. It's okay. It's supposed to be that way. It actually will let you know where you put it and where you've mixed. So this will be an awesome base right here for another sign. I'm going to put this one to the side, so that way, a little bit later, I can put my words on here too, right? What do you guys think so far? Give me hearts. If you love this stress, you can totally be friends. And what do you think so far? Easy peasy, right? So if you want to distress the sign, but also think about, to me, for example, I'm a furniture painter, so I can apply this technique to even like tabletops, like for example, end stand. Help me out. Where have you guys seen a really cool pattern? How about the inlay of a drawer? You know how you paint a dresser? Maybe you paint the frame entirely a color, and then you find something like this and you put in your actual drawers and makes it pop with some new hardware on it, and you've got something really, really cool. All right, next thing here. So this is kind of where I am. All right, again, fast forward. So this is what it looks like when it's dry. Now on this one, just to show you, I didn't do a black. I actually did like an orange because I am a teal lover. So I did a teal napkin, which you can see right here. So these were kind of my options. I was like, should I do a plain teal? Should I do a polka dot teal?
Ooh, I like the polka dot.
Do both, right?
Oh yeah, okay, so, both. That's always a good option.
I've got plenty of wood. So I went ahead, again, orange, put this with a teal on it, love it. Again, I got this pack, 75 for $2 at my local Walmart. Way to go. And I've done some distressing. You can see a little bit of it coming through right there. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and put some vinyl on it. Now, vinyl. Anybody out there used vinyl before? Because everybody probably has some good tips on how to use it. My best tip is you don't have to go and you don't have to pay for fancy tools. This is a 99-cent putty knife, and you can get tools that are made specifically for the putty out of it. But you could even use, Anna, you could use your library card if you really wanted to.
Nice.
So, all right. So basically with vinyl, you've got a sticker that is sandwiched between two pieces of like a plastic, okay? So you've got the harder and you've got the front, which is like a big sticker protective piece. So I've pushed it together. I've smushed it together, in the word, but I've smushed it together. And now what I'm trying to do is just to get it to stick to the very top of this sheet. See, that one just doesn't want to come. That's okay. Just use your fingernail until it wants to come. Help move it along. Sometimes we all need help, even vinyl stickers. But you can see I'm just peeling it right off really, really fast. And so this is the part where I can't wait to see what you guys are thinking, because you can do so many words, right?
Yeah, and Jennifer wants to know where you got the vinyl letters from.
Yes, so if you want to get into vinyl, you can search vinyl making machine. Now, I have a Cricut. I love my Cricut. You can also get your vinyl from, if you have friends, if you don't want to mess with it, you can find somebody who's a vinyl maker in your area and just be like, hey, would you just sell me, you know, here's the kind of font style that I want. Would you sell me a vinyl? And honestly, for less than $10, you could get a vinyl one made by somebody else. But it's just something where you're like, you know, I'm sure we have a lot of creative entrepreneurs on here that maybe do like vendor shows. It's the season for festivals and things like that, or you want to make a lot of them, and you know, maybe you want to make them for friends, give them as gifts, that sort of thing. Then get like a Cricut, or another one is the silhouette, the cameo silhouette. You can look that up. But once you know how to work it, it's awesome, because then it's like you cannot stop. It's like,
yeah, we have a lot of people saying they either have the silhouette or they have the Cricut, but there are a lot of fans of both of them on here. And people are asking, where do you get the vinyl for them? I know you can get it at Michael's and Joanne's. Craft stores usually carry the vinyl that you need for this. So check it out there and you should be good.
Or again, online, because sometimes if you're in a place where you don't have access to the bigger stores, When in doubt, go online.
Yes, and Sherry just said she would make her sign say "Bless our nest." Is that what you are making right now?
This one says "Our nest," but hey, I would totally do "Bless our nest." Okay, in fact, I have one coming up in a second I'm going to share with you that kind of is the same take on that as well, but
cute.
How cozy is that, right? Okay, so now here's a quick tip. So right now, I told you I did this one with a base of orange, and this is kind of where the wording is. So when I do signs, I think about it like a picture frame. And you know how something is focused in the center. So here's what I do. I go back to my black paint again, the same paint that I used as the underlay. Not only do I paint my edges, which look at that little divot right there. I love it, love it, love it.
Right.
The wood that don't look perfect, because this piece is all about being imperfectly perfect. Right? Who else agrees?
Yes.
So make sure you get your edges done. But here's a quick tip. So I'm going to take my brush, and I love using these chubby chip brushes to paint with, but also to do things like this with, because again, they're not perfect. It's not a perfect end to your brush. These are just sticky brushes. And what I'm going to do is just take it and pull it all around my edge. You see that? You see the yummy happy?
I love that.
All of a sudden, it takes on even a better look. Like, so I've got something.
It really gives it like more dimension.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So ever out and you're like, man, you know, you see a sign you like, but you can't afford to buy it because sometimes these can be expensive. So, you know, you can do them yourself really, really easy, especially if you know how. And here's another quick trick. So I'm going to do the quick tip. So I do my edges, right? Like, how sweet is that? And then here's what I do as well. I'm going to just kind of like blot off a little bit of my paint that I have on here. And then what I do is I take my brush and I just kind of like put a little bit of black through it. See what I'm saying? I just kind of like make it look like a little bit worn, coming through, just a few track marks. And that way gives it, again, like you say, dimension, right? And remember, we're working with a plain piece of wood, but not anymore. Look how
I want to say, everybody, let's help Jen out in the comments. Jen asked, which is better, the Cameo Silhouette or the Cricut? We don't really have any stands on which one is better, but if you guys have any opinions or help for Jen, comment and let her know. Also, I have to read this sign idea out. Shopping is cheaper than a psychiatrist. I agree. It is adorable. And Mary Helen says your sign is so stinking cute.
I love it. Wouldn't that be cute as a sign too? Just so stinking cute, right? I love it. Okay, so I'm going to give you some more ideas, but look at this. I'm going to let this one dry. So I showed you the thankful at the very beginning. And I also wanted to do this for a reason. So you guys see, this is a plain napkin. So remember, I showed you just the plain one. So this one has polka dots. This one has flowers. This one is just plain teal. So if you use a plain teal, just use your color underneath to make it kind of layered look.
Okay.
But if you wanna, if you want to do something really cool, you could also do a flowered one. So it's really up to you, the style napkin that you choose. Because remember, at the beginning, we're painting flamingos. Anybody have a word for what I should put on that flamingo background? I don't know. Let's see. So I'm going to put this one over here real quick. Because that was kind of a longer one, right? But I also want to keep in mind for you that you don't have to go with big one, you can go with a small one. And I'm going to show you how you can change it into a hanging sign as well. So this one right here says, can you guys see through there?
Bless this mess. I love it.
Bless this mess, right? So how easy is that? So the reason why I like the smaller one, again, it's just cut small. It's just cut like 12 inches, is because your napkins that you get, like if I were to open up this napkin, if you're like, do I have enough napkins? I found one napkin I like, whatever. It fits the entire circumference of this, right? Then you just kind of like chisel off your edges. Got it?
Yes.
So it fits so nice, and you don't have to worry about your napkin placement and all that good stuff. But look how cool. So remember how I said how I found a teal one that was solid, and I found a teal one that had polka dots, and I was like, which one should I do? Because are there any other teal lovers out there where you love teal so much that you just kind of love it all? So I picked up for all of $2 each pack, so I didn't break the bank. And now here's my polka dot one. So again, all I did was the underlay cover, layer. And then I covered it with my napkins, let that dry, did a seal on my napkin as well. And then, here we go. Oh my gosh, I am totally in love with this. What do you guys think?
Oh, it was so cute.
Yay! What color would you do yours, guys? If you were to do the Bless This Mess, would you do polka dots? Could you, maybe would you do like a red? Or what would you do under yours? Because really, the sky is the limit when you're finding all kinds of napkins. You might even have Halloween napkins here because, like I say, I have this obsession with napkins. Now that you see what you can do, because if you can't paint polka dots and you can't figure out how to do the distressed look, this is a way to bring it all together. So here is another, you guys ready for this? Oh my gosh, get ready, get ready, get ready. Another design idea.
So cute.
Oh my God, it says, welcome you, y'all. Can you see that?
Yes, and we had a lot of welcome ideas, so this is perfect.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's fun, right? When you have these, this is like got some polka dots on it. So, who doesn't need a little sunshine in their life? But sometimes you find the napkins that are smaller. So when you put it on a piece like this, it doesn't actually have to go like all over the edges. You can use your black that you put underneath it and leave it as kind of like just a border, right? Just kind of, all I did was squish up my vinyl a little bit as well, so it makes it all kind of like whimsical and fun. And I'm going to show you how to make a quick hanger before we go, because with the long signs that we just did, of course, I would recommend that you go and you get what's called a sawtooth hanger, which is like those really long zigzags that look like a saw. You hammer them in the back of the sign and you place them on your wall. For the smaller ones, because they're not so heavy, you can make little hangers with them. I'm going to show you real fast. All I did was I took my drill. You can see again. Oh, so awesome. And then we just got plain on the back. You can see the two little holes right there. So all I did was take the drill with two holes, okay? So just remember, when you put your holes up here and you do this process before, just make sure your vinyl goes up the right way, so that way everybody can see it hang. So all I'm going to do is take some jewelry. This is called jewelry wire. And again, pick it up in a jewelry section. If you go to the floral section, you can find green wire. But for me, I like the idea of the black that matches my black font, my black text. So that's kind of why I stuck with this black. And I like the jewelry wire. It's about $2.50 for a couple yards, so it goes a long, long way. So what I've done is I've put in through the holes right here, from the back to the front, and then I've got two hand hammers. I'm going to stick up my loop, see how long I want it. Don't put it too long. Just kind of like put it so that way when you're hanging on a nail, it doesn't kind of distance right here. And then we've got these two front little pieces right here. And I will show you what I would do with those because, it's like, well, how do I hang it? Slide back out. So I love these for this stuff is homemade. Get a ton of these at your dollar store for $1. Kids use brushes, but for other than that, you're really not that good.
Yes. So and we have a few. While you do that, we have a few questions that came in. So Nancy wanted to know how you put the napkins on. We use Mod Podge to paint those napkins on, Nancy. Yep, there you go, just so she knows. And somebody asked, can you use fabric? I assume for sure, right?
Yeah, you can totally use fabric. The reason why I like the napkins is because it allows for the background color to come through. You can easily distress it. So for these style signs, you'll see they look really aged, right? So when you use a napkin, it's not like, you could use tissue paper, you could use wrapping paper, but I love napkins because they're so easy to work with. They're so thin that when you pull them apart, it allows the background color to come through. And then you can also cut them so easy. So that way you can kind of like do your sandblock on the edges and just leave that kind of like tattered and torn edge, which is what I was going for today. So all I've done is twist this up and pull this out, and I've made these little curlicues. Can you guys see those right here on each end? With all it was with the paint with a brush.
That is so smart.
Yes, that's all we got to do. So we don't have to worry about anything. So you can see here, these are my two. They're ready to go right now. And remember, they're already sealed, which is awesome. The vinyl will stick to it. It's all good. So yeah, really the design options are endless. So these are the small ones, which I guarantee somebody right now has a piece of wood from maybe a project left over in the garage, whatever, that they can find right now. Yes. Or go ask the neighbor, because now is the time of year to grab all that stuff. So which one is your favorite, guys? I know I have a lot to pick from what we've got. Our nest. We've got Bless This Mess. Welcome, y'all, and Thankful.
I think my favorite is gonna have to be the Thankful one. That is just, it's so colorful and pretty. Everybody is loving all of these. And Amber wants to know, how are they sealed?
Yeah, so you're going to use your Mod Podge. Mod Podge is not only a glue, but it's also a sealer. So we use the layer of Mod Podge before we put the napkins down. Once you kind of do I call it the Hulk smash, right? You kind of just smash with your hands to get it down as much as possible. You will have some like raising and bubbles. That's perfect, okay? You kind of want that because you put the Mod Podge down, then you sandwich on your napkin, more Mod Podge, and then do a little bit of sanding to knock down some of the little raised edges, and that's how you expose your underlayer, okay? So not only does the napkin sink into the wood, but it's also going to expose some of the colors that you see, okay? Now, here's a really cool thing just to show you, when you think about where can I go, where can I buy wood, where can I get wood? I'm going to be honest with you, Hannah, I know you said you love this sign, but believe it or not, this was a piece of an old shelf.
Wow, that's so smart.
The shelf broke. You can still, remember when you like get pieces of things it says D this way, right? Well, the rest of the shelf is gone, so I kept the plank, and I thought this is like the perfect size.
It is.
Right? So, yeah, it all worked out. So there you go. So, and like I said, you can do this on the front of an actual dresser drawer if you want to. But look, guys, this is what I've been working on just the last few hours, getting prepared to come chat with you guys today and kind of give you some inspiration. Who has been inspired? Please give me some hearts. Tell me if you love it.
Yes, everybody hit the heart button and share this video with somebody who would love to do this too.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. So if you're a sign maker, and like I say, this is how I cheat. This is how I cheat to make distress signs. And you think, well, how many layers of paint do you need to put on this to really get this kind of distress look? You don't. One coat of paint, and that's gonna be your choice. How awesome, right?
Perfect.
And then like I said, just do a little bit of extra work to bring it together, and you're done.
Awesome. And we do have a giveaway winner. It is Anna Linton, who commented, "Craft like no one's watching." I love that sign. That would actually be perfect for our office, so we might have to make that. So thank you so much for all your ideas. They were fantastic, and yes, thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Pleasure talking with you guys. Be sure to follow me over at Sonia's Chevy Chic, where I love to DIY daily.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you're inspired to go and make some awesome signs for your own home right after this. And if you do, be sure to share them on Hometalk. Come back tonight at 5 p.m. and we are live again with another DIY. All right, see you then.